What would it feel like to be truly, deeply happy, regardless of your circumstances? Did you know that happiness is a choice and not a result? That you can create your life on purpose? Join us now to learn more. This is the Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. And here's your host, mindset coach, and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott.
Hello and welcome. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I am having such a great day today. The sun is shining. I'm laughing my head off, especially with my producer who has asked me not to name her this just in case something pops out of my mouth. Okay. So hi, welcome to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. And today we are talking about something so yummy. We are talking about transformation and how to actually do it. We hear people talking about it all the time, but I honestly don't know if I've ever heard a whole lot of people talking about this. Like, all right, great. I'm going through a transformation. So what do I need to do? How do I do it? So if you are in a position where you know that there are shifting things, stuff is changing in your world, stuff is changing in your life, you would like to create something different than your current circumstances, you are so in the right place today, because that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. So on Time to Rise and Thrive, what we do here is we talk about subliminal soundtrack. We talk about how to get it working for you rather than against you. We talk about your unique beauty, your value, your contribution to the world, to the people who care about you, all of that kind of stuff. Did you know that you are beautiful just as you are right now? Did you know that? Did you know that your presence, just your presence, is enough to make a contribution to this world? Did you know that? Stick with me, because by the end of the show, we're going to shift that perspective just a little bit. And sometimes when we just crack it open a little bit, we can start to see something differently. Yes, and that's where this starts. Transformation starts with that being able to see things in a different way. Isn't it exciting? So here's what I wrote for the show. We've heard it many times. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. When we're going through a transformation, we may not realize that we've gotten caught up in old belief systems or behaviors that are limiting us. So when we can't see things, when we don't know how to break free of them, what do? That's what we do. Transformation's a process. It can be complete. It can't be completed until we start choosing something different and being conscious of what's happening inside of us and breaking through those old loops and those old habits. So if you are feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you are trying so hard to shift things, you are trying so hard to get through whatever that thing is, and you just can't figure it out, you are in the right place. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So what is this subliminal soundtrack? Subliminal soundtrack is my thing. Okay. So this is what I work with. This is, it is so wonderful to work with this idea because it's easy to understand. It's easy to understand. And when something is easy to understand, we can often take action on it really quickly. So what is a subliminal soundtrack? Subliminal soundtrack is this loop of messages that plays in the back of our minds all day, every day. It's made up of little bits of information that we picked up throughout the course of our lives. So every relationship you've had, every circumstance you've been in, every conversation, every lesson you've ever learned, every single experience has given you little bits of information that you've taken and stored back there on that loop of messages in your subliminal soundtrack. Now, we use that information to create our belief systems about who we are, about what's possible in this world, about what it means to have money or not have money, about what it means to love or be loved. All of those things and every other thing that you can think of is influenced by your subliminal soundtrack. So one of the ways that I illustrate this really, really, really quickly, and since we're coming up on February, we'll talk about that one today. So if I've grown up in a home where my mother, for example, or my grandmother or my aunt, or like whomever it may be, but somebody in my world has decided at some point in their lifetime that February is such a hard month. It is such a hard month to get through. They say that to me over and over and over again. Oh, Jackie, February's coming. How are we going to get through February? As time passes, very naturally, at some point, I am going to start to brace myself probably around mid January because I know February is coming and I know it is so hard to get through February. It's a terrible month. But here's where this becomes problematic. What if I live in a place where February is cold and maybe I enjoy outdoor, winter activities like skating or tobogganing or skiing, like any kind of other thing? Or what if I really love February 14th? What if I really love Valentine's Day? What if I really love to go outside and walk in the crisp, cold air? What if I really enjoy those things? So you see, there's that polarity, and that's where this gets really problematic. So I've got the belief system that was passed on to me from whomever it was that gave me that message that February is such a terrible month. It's so hard. And then I have my own experience that tells me, but wait, I really actually like the things that February is a great month to do those things that I enjoy doing. So you end up with this sort of thing where one thing is banging against the other, and then we get confused, and then we start to not understand things, and that's where it gets really messy. So your subliminal soundtrack is incredibly important. And the thing that is most fascinating and most exciting for me to work with is what we believe to be true will be true for us, even if it's based on completely incorrect information. Now, that is sort of a double-edged sword too, because if we believe that February is a difficult month, then we are going to create those circumstances in our lives. But if we believe a different thing, then it will allow other things to come into our world. Do you see what I'm saying? A really great way to see this is it's all over social media, right? It's all over social media. You will see, and this has happened to me, you will see somebody post this thing, and maybe it's a meme, maybe it's something that somebody's written that, speaks to them or whatever. And this thing, I will post this up, and maybe it's really funny for me. Maybe it's something that's really poignant for me, whatever it is. It caused a reaction in me that then helped me decide to post it up there for my friends, for my people that I care about. Now, you have two different people who see the exact same thing. And one goes, oh my God, I love that. It speaks to my heart. Or, oh my God, that's so funny. And the other person goes completely opposite. The other person goes, what? Wait, hold on. This is very offensive. So, what is very important for us to understand is our perspective, our perception, the way we process all of that information is what will influence our beliefs, our reactions, our perception of people's intentions, all of that stuff, all of that stuff. So, when this when we start talking about this transformation, this old ways won't open new doors. Old ways won't open new doors. How this relates to our subliminal soundtrack is this. If you believe that you can do the same things you've always done, get different results, or even worse, if you believe that you can't have the things that you desire or you don't deserve them, and I know that feels ick, if you don't deserve them, you'll probably never make the changes or seek out the learning that will help you to create exactly the circumstances that you desire. Do you see what I'm saying? When we feel like something is out of reach or out of our realm of possibility, we are never going to go after that thing. We'll never even try because it's there. I can't get there, right? It's like there's a great big mountain or chasm or something between me and that thing that I would like to have. And therefore, I'm not even going to try. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why it's so important. When, on the other hand, we believe that things are possible for us, we believe that exactly what we're talking about. Old ways won't open new doors. We will approach life from a different place completely. We will approach life from the standpoint of, okay, this challenge is here to teach me what? What am I able to learn from this circumstance that will help me to get across that chasm? What am I able to learn from this situation that broke my heart, or the situation that knocked me flat on my ass? What can I learn and take with me to help me build that bridge from where I am now to what I want, where I would like to be, what I desire in my life? Do you see? We can be hopeful. We can be in a place where we're going, okay, I know it's there. I can see it. I can see it. I just need to figure out how to get there. And when you do that, you open up the doors. Do you see what I'm saying? We crack it open just a little bit and let that light come in, and the doors open up. And okay, so here you go. Here you go. Here's the person that you need to meet. Here's the career that you actually would feel fulfilled and loving. And oh my God, this feels so good. I didn't even know I could make money doing this. Do you understand what I'm getting at? All of the doors open wide up. And because you were in that position of possibility, because you are looking for what could happen, you will see them. Consider that. We just talked about that chasm between me, where I am now, and where I want to be. So it's the difference between the person who's looking for what they need to help them build that bridge, and that person who's standing on the edge going, oh, I could never get there. Do you see what I'm saying? This is so important. Your subliminal soundtrack is so important. And the best news is you can change it. If you find yourself being that person on this side who's saying, oh, that's not available to me. Oh, honey, we can do something about that. We can change it. It's not even that hard to do. We're going to talk about that as we go through today's show. How do we shift our mindset so that we can see that, all right, yeah, I can. I know. I don't know how yet. I don't know who's going to show up, but I'm going to get there. Do you see? Feel the energy of that I'm over here and it's over there, and this is anything. This could be a neighborhood that you'd like to live in. This could be a career that's going to make you feel those, my heart sings every time I work doing this stuff. It could be money. It could be romance. It could be friendships. It could be any area of your life. If you perceive yourself as being over here, it being over there, and you can't get there, you're not even going to try. You're not even going to try. You're going to defeat yourself before you even have a thought process that allows you. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. So I'm just like, oh, this is crazy good. This is crazy good. And I've got some stuff that I want to share with you before we go to our first break. So our mindset creates our perception, and the perception creates the reality. When we function from a mindset that created these circumstances that we would like to change, we can't change them. The only thing that we have available is to create exactly the same things. So we start working on this subliminal soundtrack, and in a nutshell, this is what we do. We pull out the old belief systems. We pull out the things that we need to work on. We get conscious and aware of what we are creating, what we are allowing, what we are manifesting into our lives by looking at those messages and getting really honest with ourselves. We understand how it's working and what it's creating. We consciously reset those messages. We consciously take them and go, no, this doesn't work for me. February is not a bad month. I'm going to let go of that belief system that says that February is a hard month. Shift. Great. February is wonderful. I'm going to go ski now. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to go toboggan with the kids. Whatever it is you want to do. Shift it. Change it. You can do that with everything. So it is very simple, but it does require effort. It might require you to heal some things. I'm going to tell you that right up front. This is not necessarily an easy process. It's simple. but it's not necessarily easy. The nice thing about working with subliminal soundtrack is that very often it's a quick shift. It's a quick shift, and we don't really need to understand the why. We need to understand the how and the what. So how is this affecting me, and what is it creating? The why often is something we just need to be aware of so that we can shift it. Do you see what I'm saying? We don't always have to go into a deep healing process. And if you do, there's so many people out there that can help you. I can help you. I can help you with this. I love to work with this stuff. It makes me so joyful when I start to see people shifting a little bit. So understanding leads to breakthrough. Breakthrough leads to change, and change leads to transformation. I'm going to say that again. Understanding leads to the breakthrough. The breakthrough leads to the change that you would like to make. And the change that you would like to make leads to the transformation. It's so wonderful. All right. So I have to go to break. I hate doing this. You're with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I've got so much to say today. I am your host, Jackie Mott. When we come back, we're going to talk about sort of what keeps us stuck. How does this work? And what can we do about it? Grab yourself a pen and paper and stick with us for just a minute. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott. Today we are talking about transformation. Old ways will not open new doors. And basically what we're talking about is how to break free of the loops, the patterns, the habits, the limitations that we have created for ourselves so that we can actually move toward the things that we do desire to have. Isn't it exciting? I hope you grabbed your pen and paper. If you haven't, go grab it now. One of the things I'll tell you really quickly is if you're not able to keep up, because I'm telling you, I've got so much to pack into this hour, it is ridiculous. If for some reason you're not able to keep up with your notes, you can find this podcast on inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Look for either Jackie Mott or Time to Rise and Thrive, and you will find the recordings. We're also on YouTube. We're on Binge TV. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on SoundCloud. We are all over the place. I'm pretty sure that we are on over 250 platforms right now. And our owner, she just keeps on going and keeps on creating more and more and more. When I started doing this show a couple of years ago, we were just a radio show. Now we have video. Now we are on all of these different places. And I was blown away when I first signed up and said hello. I was excited then. And then she brings in the video and I'm like, oh, good Lord. Anyway, so there's a perfect example. It is a perfect example of what we're talking about right now. Her belief system, my belief system in her has helped her create this thing that just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. I've got people all over the world that contact me and say, wow, I saw your show. I have a question. All over the world, Netherlands, the States, I'm trying to think, there was one, Australia. I've got people all over the world who have contacted me about the things that I talk about on the show. It's wonderful. And this is completely free of charge. So if you're thinking about making a few mindset shifts, my friend, Friday afternoons, 1 p.m. Eastern, you will find me here every Friday afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we are always talking about how to create more, how to break through, how to transform, how to get unstuck, all of that stuff. Ugh, love this so freaking much. Okay. Now, if I don't get to the content, I mean, I could just talk all day. This is crazy. So great. Okay. So let's talk about this thing. What is it that actually keeps us stuck? What is it that keeps us in that space where we can't create something else? All right. Because remember, old ways will not open new doors. When we are doing the same things over and over and over again, the only thing that we can create is the same thing. Okay, we have to change what we're doing. We have to change how we're perceiving things. So this subliminal soundtrack thing that I mentioned before, it affects everything. Your money flows, what is possible for you in relationships. And that doesn't have to be romantic relationships. Okay. That could be relationships, with your kids, with your parents, with your friends, with your siblings, whomever, because relationship isn't always romantic, right? Relationship is about two people coming together, or distancing themselves. That's what it is. So it could be anyone, could be your dog, could be your cat. I don't know, could be the guy next door. Relationships are everywhere with everybody in your world. So what do you believe is possible in your relationships? There's your subliminal soundtrack. What we believe that we are capable of, what is possible. Remember, here I am on this side of the chasm, over there is the thing that I want. What's possible? Can I build a bridge? I'm sure. Why couldn't I? Why couldn't I build a bridge? But if I'm in that space where I'm like, oh no, it's out of my reach, I'm not even going to try. And Henry Ford, I think, is the one who said this. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. It's true. It's true. So think about that. If I'm over here, then I'm looking for the materials, I'm looking for the people that can help me, I'm looking for whatever. And I'm working toward it. And then the beautiful thing is that the universe starts to conspire to help those things show up. So those doors are opening up to help me build that bridge from here to there. When our beliefs cause us to have, or when our mindset causes us to have limiting beliefs. So if you have listened to this show, there's all kinds of speakers out there, there are podcasts, there are, courses and all kinds of stuff out there. A lot of people talk about these things. So lack mindset, poverty mindset, those are two of the really deep, difficult things that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people struggle with this. So if you do, you're not alone. And there are lots of resources out there that can help you break free of those things if you shift your mindset and you're willing to do a little bit of work. You don't have to stay there. You have a choice. You always have a choice. Okay. You always have a choice. That's your power position. You always have a choice. What am I going to do right now? What am I going to do with the circumstances? You may not be able to influence the outside circumstances, but you can definitely influence what you're going to do with them. It's that play the hand you're dealt. Play it to the very best of your ability. All right. That's what you've got to work with. So when we have these belief systems that cause us to believe perhaps that we deserve to be treated poorly in a job or in a relationship, to believe that we deserve certain things based on where we came from, who we came from, all of those sorts of things, what we've done. Maybe you made a huge mistake in your past that you're still hauling around with you. I became a mom when I was 17. And inside my family, that was catastrophic. Catastrophic. But look at me now. Look at me now. Do you see what I'm saying? We do not have to. We can release those things that we have been hauling around for our entire lives and create entirely new circumstances for ourselves. Please hear me say that. We can release those things and create an entirely new life for ourselves. You are not defined by your past. You are not defined by the things that have happened to you. You are not defined by the choices you made 10, 20, 50, whatever years ago. You are not defined by those things that were completely outside of your control unless you allow it. Unless you allow it. You are defined by whatever you choose. You are defined by who you be, by what you decide to do about where you find yourself right now. Those are the things that define you. It's very exciting when you actually start to be able to wrap your mind around this thing that says you can change. You can change your circumstances. You can change your relationships. You can change your finances. You can change your beliefs about who you are. Believe me, when I became pregnant when I was so young, I picked up some really ugly stories about myself. And I continued to tell myself those stories for years, like decades. And that was what I created from. I created from that girl who was so hurt and so scared and so angry and felt unsupported and unworthy and unloved. I created my life from there. I had to work through that and release that in order to create the life that I currently have. And I promise you, if you've been following this show, I have never been so happy. I have never felt so fulfilled. I have never felt so in tune or aligned with my purpose. My friends are different. My relationships with them are different. When we come from a place where we actually see ourselves, understand ourselves, and love ourselves in totality, all right? And that means everything, all of the good, all of the bad, all of the ugly, all of it. We love differently. We relate to people differently. We work differently. We think differently. Everything is different. And that is our goal. Our goal is to embrace who and what we are, all of it. Learn to love it and appreciate it and see the beauty in it, because there's not another one of you ever has been on this planet. Not another one of you. Not another one of you ever could be. This is the contribution. You showing up as you is the contribution that you make to the world, to the people you love, to your workmates, to whomever, to the neighbor, to the whatever, the postal guy. I don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? It is all within your control. It's all the outside circumstances, no, but how you relate to them and what you do with them. Oh man, you can create magic. Did you know that? Oh, and by the way, I'll tell you just at the beginning of the next segment, there's some really juicy stuff coming. And it's sort of around that idea of the magic and what we can create. Okay. So the last thing that I want to address before we head to our next break is, why do these ideas, these beliefs get, like, how do they get so stuck in there? Now, this is where the work comes into this process, okay? Because sometimes we need to heal these things. Things often happen to us when we are so small and so young, and we don't have any other frame of reference to put them in. So remember my February is a bad month, right? If I've been told that over and over and over again when I was too young to know any different, then that's just there. It's just there. So it's like conditioning, and in extreme cases, extreme being the operative word, it can be like brainwashing. Okay, that stuff gets stuck back in there. Now, I have had over the last, I don't even know, I'm going to say over the last few months, I have had some massive stuff come up for me. And it has been like moving mountains. There are mountains that are moving in my life because I am addressing those things, or even just I'm becoming aware of them. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Maybe I need to cry a few tears. Maybe I need to shout. Maybe I need to write. Maybe I need to burn the papers. I don't know whatever your process is. Maybe you journal, go for a walk in nature. I don't know what your process is, but go through your process. When those things come up, when you feel like you need to shed those emotions, allow yourself to do it, because the emotion sometimes is the stuff that gets us really, it gets gummy and gunky and it's just messy. So when we're dealing with this mindset stuff, we need to work from our mind more than we do from our emotion. Okay. And that's why it can be so easy to shift. If we can get past the emotion, if we can get past the meaning that we have attached and the energy that we have attached to a circumstance, we can shift it like that. Like literally in minutes, some of these things can be shifted. Sometimes it takes a few days. I don't think it's ever taken more than a couple of weeks with anybody that I've worked with or with myself when I'm working through this process. So if you need help, let me know. I'm here. You can find me on Facebook, Jackie Mott, Mindset and Empowerment Expert. I'm working on getting some other social media stuff set up. Oh boy, technology is a thing. It's a thing for me. You can also go to jackiemott.com. You can email me or send me a message through there. That's my website. It'll give you some more information on what we do. And there is a free article, 5 Steps to Create a Mindset Wired for Success. If you sign up for that, I think you have to put in your email address, and then you will get the new newsletters that we're working on creating right now. The new newsletters will be coming out monthly in the very near future. So if you get that article, grab it, give us your email address, and then you will start to hear about the new things that are coming out. So when we live these things and we experience them, that is why we begin to believe their truth. That's the thing. So it's not available. I'm over here. It's over there. It's not available. All right. So on that note, we are going to head to our next break. Do not forget to grab that pen and paper, because this is where we get to the how. How can we shift these things and do it quickly? So you're with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott. Today, we are talking about breaking free of those limiting beliefs, those patterns, those loops that we've been caught up in, so that we can actually start to move toward the things that we do desire, the circumstances we do desire to have in our world. So stick with us for just a minute. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? Our subliminal soundtrack plays in the back of our minds 24/7. It's filled with everything we've ever learned about money, relationships, body, and sexuality, about every single aspect of our lives. If you don't have what you desire, the Subliminal Soundtrack Reset program may be the very key to changing it all. In this 8-week program, designed by Jackie Mott, you'll learn to replace messages that stop your desires with new ones that not only support you in creating what you truly desire, but expand your life to higher levels of joy and pleasure. Go to phoenixcoach.ca today to sign up and begin creating your life on purpose.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott. Today we are talking about breaking free of those limitations, those mindsets, those loops and patterns that keep us stuck in our current circumstances. If you have ever felt like you wanted to create something new or different and you weren't able to do it, you got stuck, you didn't quite know what to do, you are so in the right place today. So one of the things that I want to share with you right now is this thing in action. It is crazy when you start to employ these tools, these tips, these things that I talk about every week. When you start to employ them in your world, to do them in your world, it is amazing the stuff that starts to shift and change. Just before Christmas, I was doing a show, and I'm sure it was called Believe All Things Are Possible. And it was brilliant. That day, I was so excited. And what often happens for me is I create this outline every week before I do the show. And sometimes I go completely off on some tangent somewhere. And it is so beautiful for me when that happens, because that's sort of the stuff that I feel like I'm supposed to talk about. Sometimes it's over here. It's not what I thought it was going to be. But what we were talking about on that show was this idea that where did we stop believing in magic? We were talking about it's Christmas time. We used to believe that reindeer flew. We used to believe that, there were these magical little creatures called elves that were creating all kinds of toys up in some wonderful wonderland up in the North Pole, didn't we? There was all kinds of stuff. There was all kinds of stuff that we used to believe before something happened that caused us to see ourselves as on this side and the thing that we want over there. Before that, do you see what I'm saying? So what if we could tap into that now? What if we could come to a place where we're like, anything is possible. Anything. I could meet someone today that's going to completely change my world. When we operate from that space, oh my God, the stuff that happens. So here's where it's exciting. I am writing my book. I've been working on it for the last several weeks. It will be coming out soon. I don't know exactly when, but get on that newsletter, find me on Facebook, keep watching the show, whatever it is you will hear as I get closer and closer and closer, you will hear the news. So it's coming. Believe all things are possible. And in this book, I'm going to walk you through all of the steps. I am also going to start to coach Believe All Things Are Possible. There is a program that has been percolating in the back of my mind for the last few years. And it is so good. It's yummy. It's juicy. It's messy. It's sexy. It's sassy. It's fun. It's all of this stuff. So it will be a 12-month program. We will be having different options. So there will be a master class once a month with a different mindset issue, and each one of them they will build on each other. So as we go through the 12-month process, we're going to crack it open and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, so that by the end of a year, you will be in a completely different place, mindset, and very likely with a lot of other circumstances in your life. So there will be the masterclass. That will be one option. There will be an additional option if you would like to have a mastermind session based on that once a month. So there'll be 2 sessions for that group. And there will be a third option that will have you have time with me one-on-one if you would like to actually break it open and work on it really quick. We can do some amazing things very, very quickly. So that's what's going on in my world. That's what I'm creating. Do you see? Because I no longer believe that thing is over there and not possible. I no longer believe it. I believe that I can build the bridge to get there. I believe that the people, the circumstances, the resources are going to appear. They're going to be there. And I can do that. So if you would like to join me on that journey, you know how to contact me. Stay in touch, let me know, and I will give you some information as we get closer and closer and closer to that. It's so exciting. So now, if I don't get back on track, we are not going to get through the house. I hope you have your pen and paper. If you don't, grab it or go back and find the replay of this podcast, pause it, grab your pen and paper, make your notes, whatever you need to do. Remember, we're on Inspired Choices Network. We are on, oh my goodness, Binge TV, iHeartRadio. I don't even know. We are all over the place. So go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, find something. I know that Christine's got some list on there somewhere that tells you everywhere that you can find me. Oops, she says Spotify, Audible, all over the place, over 250 places to find us. And there are a lot of other absolutely brilliant people that have their own podcast too. So I would encourage you to have a look around and see if there's anything else that tickles your fancy. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we do this? Are you ready? I'm going to give you 5 things to consider. 5 things to consider today. And we're going to go through them quickly. We're going to go, maybe I should make a class on this. That would be fun. Hey, what do you think, Christine? I think, yeah, I think that would be a great idea. So tip number 1, ask yourself this question. Is this belief, if this belief that I'm holding were based on correct information, why isn't it true for everyone? Oh, why isn't it true for everyone? Are there people out there that have healthy relationships? Are there people out there who have lots of money? Are there people out there who have careers that light them up? So if this belief that I have is based on correct information, why isn't it true for everyone else? Good question to start with. Journal that. Join me in that group that I was talking about. Oh, this is going to be a really good place to talk about it. Okay. Second question, ask yourself, who do I know that has the circumstances I would like to have? So that has relationship, career, finances, joy, happiness, laughter, health, body shape, anything. Who do I know? Who do I know that currently has that thing that I desire? Third, what are they doing differently? What are they doing differently than I am right now? If you are close to them, ask them. And even if you're not close to them, ask them. There are a lot of people out there who would be happy to share some information to help somebody else. It's that thing of like, we reach back and we help somebody come up to our level because we were helped up to our level. Do you see what I'm saying? So there are lots of people out there. Ask them. Ask them. Ask them what they read or listen to. Ask them if there's a podcast they really like. Ask them if there's a show they really like that helps them expand their mind. Who do they surround themselves with personally and professionally? So that one, we are the combined average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. There's this thing that happens where when we are around people, we naturally start to consider things from a different place. Do you see what I'm saying? Especially if they're a person who has the thing that you desire. Number 4, what could you do to create similar circumstances for yourself? Networking, activities, clubs that you could join, book clubs so that you could read the same books. There are so many different, maybe you join a gym, think about that. Okay. The osmosis of if I have a workout partner, if I have a class that I enjoy from a physical standpoint, right, from a physical activity standpoint, then I am going to go and I'm going to be around people that also enjoy that thing. And I'm going to be encouraged to keep going. Right? I'm going to be encouraged to keep going and having that dance class or playing that sport or whatever, going to that gym activity, whatever it is. The caveat that I need to throw in here really quickly is that we need to be prepared that if we start to shift these things, that some people may not like it. So if you're not sure, then maybe make sure that you are before you start to make big shifts. We can make ourselves and other people kind of uncomfortable sometimes. And when we do that, our relationships can shift. I mean, it's a thing. It's a real thing. So when you are doing this, be prepared that people may challenge you. People may not understand. People may not like it a whole lot. Okay. Be prepared for that. Now, tip number 5, the very last thing, go get it. Go get it. Go do something. Start building that bridge. Take action. Start building that bridge to get you from here to where you want to be. Start building it. There you go. That's your tips for today. Go back and read them. Go back and watch it again. Go back and find us someplace else. I don't know. You can find us. Go back and listen to this if that happened more quickly. If you have any questions or thoughts on this, please be in touch with me. I would love to hear from you. JackieMott.com or find me on Facebook, Jackie Mott Mindset and Empowerment Expert. We're going to head to our last break right now. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up this conversation about breaking free of those loops and patterns and limiting beliefs that are holding you in a place and not allowing that transformation to happen. All right. So stick with us for just a moment. We will be right back.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? This question came to Jackie Mott when she was trying to find peace and purpose in the wake of tragedy. She began to understand that a lot of her pain and choices had been the result of how she perceived herself and her place in the world. And she set about creating a new subliminal soundtrack that would support her in creating a life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment. To learn more about how she did that and how you can do the same, join Jackie on her radio show, Time to Rise and Thrive, every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What do you tell yourself when you're not listening? Our subliminal soundtrack plays in the back of our minds 24/7. It's filled with everything we've ever learned about money, relationships, body, and sexuality, about every single aspect of our lives. If you don't have what you desire, the Subliminal Soundtrack Reset program may be the very key to changing it all. In this 8-week program, designed by Jackie Mott, you'll learn to replace messages that stop your desires with new ones that not only support you in creating what you truly desire, but expand your life to higher levels of joy and pleasure. Go to phoenixcoach.ca today to sign up and begin creating your life on purpose.
This is the Time to Rise and Thrive show with mindset coach and facilitator of change, Jackie Mott. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. For more information, visit phoenixcoach.ca, where you can follow Phoenix Coaching online. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to our final segment of today's show. You are with me on Time to Rise and Thrive on Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. Today we are talking about breaking free, getting that transformation, doing the things so that we can actually break free of the circumstances we don't desire. We keep talking about this. I'm on this side of the chasm. The thing that I want is over there. How do I get there? How do I get there? And that's what we've been talking about all day. Well, I've been talking to it. I guess we've only been on here for just not quite an hour, right? All right. So the last little bit of the show, I want to sort of summarize what we've talked about. The fastest and easiest way to create something different in your life is to surround yourself with people who already have that. So think about that. Remember, combined average of the 5 people with whom you spend the most time. So let's talk about money. Where do wealthy people hang out? What do wealthy people think about money? What do wealthy people do with whatever? Do you see what I'm saying? How can you get close to those people? Can you join a club? You know, there's a lot of things. There are a lot of people who like public service things, you know, like the Lions and the, I don't know what, you'll have to figure out what kinds of clubs or organizations are where you are, but there are all kinds of public service groups that go out into the world and do something to help in some area or another. Go find one of those groups. Often these people who are wealthy, who are change makers, who are doing things differently are part of those groups. So go and do some research, find them, get out. Okay, here is one truth that I want you to really grasp and really get your mind around. Nothing will change if you don't change something. Nothing will change if you don't change something. If you want a relationship, sitting on your couch is not going to get you a relationship. Waiting for them to just magically appear on your doorstep is not going to get you that relationship. If you want a new career, sitting on your couch is not going to magically. I mean, God, I wish it was that easy, right? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Boom. You have the relationship you want. You have the money you have. You want this career. Great. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Bing. Wouldn't that be lovely? You must start to change things. And very often it is a natural side effect. It's a very natural thing to start to shift our perceptions when we surround ourselves with people who have a different way of being. If you have never seen a healthy relationship, and a lot of us haven't, a lot of us have not had good modeling in our lives. If you've never seen a healthy relationship, go find someone who's good at relationship and model them. Do you see what I'm saying? Copy them, understand how they tick. How do they look at it from their point of view? Maybe there's something that you can shift really quickly and easily that will help you to perceive a relationship in a different way. A friendship, a parent, whatever. Remember, we talked about that. It doesn't have to be romantic. I mean, romantic is nice, of course, but there's all kinds of relationships in your life. So go find someone who does relationship well and see if you can learn. It's like an osmosis thing, right? It's so easy to pick up just a little bit. Pay attention, be a sponge, learn from them, listen to them. 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them accordingly. 2 ears, listen, pay attention, learn as much as you can from those people. We shift our perceptions by considering different point of view. A conversation can change everything. And I wish I'd brought it over here. There is a story that I read many years ago. It's called That Something. I don't remember who the author is off the top of my head, but find it. If you're trying to shift your mindset, that was where it started for me. It is brilliant. It's short. It's an easy read. Find it. All right. So we are right down to the wire, my friends. I am so glad that you've joined me today. I have a quote that I'd like to leave you with, and then, and then we're done. I know. I'll be back next week, though. So the quote to leave you with is, when you shift your mindset and your beliefs, you will automatically begin to create different circumstances. If you're trying to create a new life or new circumstances for yourself, but not making any progress, look to your mindset. Old ways won't open new doors, and old beliefs block you from new circumstances. It's your choice. What do you choose? It's all up to you, my friend. It's all up to you. That's the hard part. It's also the beautiful part, because once you understand, then you can actually start to change things. So thanks again for joining me today. We will be back next week on Friday, 1 p.m. live, Eastern Standard, 12 noon Central, 11 something, your time zone. So find us 1 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we'll be back, and our conversation next week is going to be about getting down to the root. Getting down to the root, because when those roots are deep, if we don't dig them up, what happens? Those weeds come back again and again and again. So we got to dig deep, grab that root, get it out of there so that we can start to do this stuff. We're going to talk about how to identify the problem, get right down to it, dig it up, and free yourself from the triggers and the upheaval that's been created by your past. So thanks again so much for being with me. Time to Rise and Thrive, Inspired Choices Network. I'm your host, Jackie Mott, mindset and empowerment expert. I so appreciate your time. I hope that something that we have talked about today has helped you shift your perspective and start to see that beautiful, amazing creature that you are. I hope that you understand it's your time to rise and thrive.
Thank you for joining us for Time to Rise and Thrive radio show. Jackie Mott will return next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Have a fantastic week, and remember, it's your time to rise and thrive.